Hi everyone, welcome back. So last week we kind of had an unusual episode because I was able to go to Politicon with the crew from the Daily Wire. They let me go backstage with them. So I'm a humble writer from Conservative News, but get this, I was able to get really great seats to see the Cenk and Ben Shapiro debate, and it was incredible. Of course, you can go back and watch my episode. I don't have any footage of the debate, unfortunately. They wouldn't let us, but I took some good photos, and I interviewed my co-writer at Con News, Paul Bois, afterwards. It was really great. It was a lot of fun. So, today, we're going to get kind of back into the swing of things. We're going to get back to normal. I've got a couple of great comic book reviews. I've got a movie review I want to do, and I want to review the update for Future Fight, the Marvel gaming app. So before I do, before we go any further though, I wanted to let you know I saw Ghost in the Shell, the 2017 film featuring Scarlett Johansson. It came out this year, of course, obviously, and I reviewed it on my blog. I think some of you will be surprised by my review of Ghost in the Shell. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I explain why on my blog. So head over to www.jakeberry.blog and check it out. I think you'll be surprised. Without further ado, we're going to hit into high gear, and we're going to go straight into Studio Jake. Okay, and we're back. Now, right off the bat, I want to jump into Future Fight. It's this gaming app. I've mentioned it in a couple of my other videos. It's a lot of fun to play. You assemble your, you have 5 teams of 3, and you can go on different storylines and stuff. And my main team is Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America. They are undefeatable as a team, or I'd like to think so. Sometimes in one-on-one battles with other characters, I pretty much get my butt kicked, but otherwise, love it. So they introduced Spider-Man 2099. I think you can see it right there. Sorry for the weird reflection. But anyway, I was really excited when I saw they added him, but I'm a little frustrated with them, and I'll tell you why. They made him a special character, which means it's nigh impossible to get the biometrics that you need to earn him. And I think that's just so that's just such a cheat. They already have Hyperion, Carnage, and a ton of other characters locked up that way. Come on, you could have given us Spider-Man 2099. And also, one thing that I've noticed that they're doing with all of the Spider-Man characters, they have 4 types. They have Muscle, Blaster, Speed, and Universal, or Cosmic. And Blaster defeats or has an advantage over Muscle. Muscle has an advantage over Speed. Speed has an advantage over Blaster, and then Cosmic / Universal is neutral. And they've made all Spider-Man characters, Silk, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, they've made them all Speed characters. And it's just kind of like, when I saw Spider-Man 2099 was going to be on this new update, I got really excited because I thought, oh, finally they'll introduce a Blaster character for Spider-Man, and then maybe they'll introduce Kane or Ben Reilly Spider-Man and make them Muscle, and so then you can have all 3 types, and you can kind of have like a complete Spider-Man team. But no, they made him a Speed. Why did they do that? I don't get it, but they did, and it's really frustrating. And one of the things too I'm not crazy about is how they've redone the challenges. So before you had just kind of a straight your different challenges for the day. They went across the board, and they were all the same. And what they did was for the update is they changed them. So every day you have 5 different challenges. Although it seems like sending assembly points. That's like a bonus coin thing you can do. That seems to be recurring every day. The others, they're pretty well mixing them up. But it used to be Villain Siege was on here permanently. Daily Mission was on here permanently. And nothing wrong with that, but I'm just not a fan of this kiosk. I think that, I think that this should. I like the old version where it was more straight. It was easier to follow, easier to read. And I know it's doing this because they're doing this this bonus wheel right here. So you do a certain amount, and then eventually you get to the bonus, which is the crystals. Now the crystals are important because you can buy bonus stuff like costumes and biometrics. You can buy with them. Um, Outside of that, I like the updates. They added Sandman, Titania. I'm kind of excited. I hope they introduce Ben Riley and Kane. Because like I said, they should make Kane muscle, and they should make Ben Riley a blaster. For those of you who enjoy Scarlet Spider, you know that Peter Parker, or excuse me, Ben Riley, he wears gauntlets, and he can fire different types of webbing weapons. So like for instance, he has a web bomb, and when it goes off, it completely wraps his enemy or opponent in a web cocoon. It was really cool. He has taser webs. He was actually the first to have a taser web, believe it or not. So I think that they need to start giving a wider spectrum to the Spider-Man supporting characters. Now you can buy, for a lot of the characters, you can buy alternate costumes. For instance, Spider-Man, they have the classic, they have the all new, all different costume, they have the black costume, and they just added Spider-Man Homecoming and Civil War Spider-Man costumes. I'm hoping, because Spider-Man 2099, he actually has another color, another coloring, and so maybe they'll introduce that as an alternate costume for him. That would be really cool. But if you're listening, Netmarble, that's the company that makes Future Fight. If you're listening, please add more Spider-Man characters, but kind of make them a variety, so we can make a more complete team. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about this new Batman series that they're doing DC Comics is doing in the solo Batman Rebirth. So as I previously reviewed, they're doing this series called The War of Jokes and Riddles, and it's actually a flashback series. There was previously two series, one called Legends of the Dark Knight, and then later it was called Batman Confidential, but they did flashbacks to Batman's early days when he was younger. And so they're kind of doing this, they're repeating that formula in this Batman solo series. And what it is the Joker, for some reason, is not happy, and he's not laughing. And he he instigates a war with the Riddler, and that happens in, it happens in this issue. And then it continues here, and like the Batman rogues are actually having like a civil war, and it's causing chaos in Gotham, because some are siding with the Riddler and some are siding with the Joker. So this issue 27, it follows Batman, and he wants to send in a spy to take on or to infiltrate the Joker. Now, and it gives a new origin for a classic character known as Kite Man. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Kite Man, he's kind of a cheesy villain that was used as a gimmick in the 60s and 70s. Has a really stupid name, obviously, but they're trying to modernize him during the War of Jokes and Riddles. I don't know why they're calling this an interlude. It felt like part 3 to me, but anyway, and it gives Kite Man kind of a tragic origin where he's caught in the middle of this war between the Riddler and the Joker. It's very tragic what happens to him. Batman tries to use him as a spy, and of course that doesn't work out very well. It's really, really interesting. Like I said, I think Kite Man is a very cheesy villain, but I think for the War of Jokes and Riddles, like I said, it takes place in Batman's early days. I think he's an excellent addition. He kind of matches and goes with the craziness that's going on between the Riddler and the Joker. And I want to give a shout out to Tom King. Tom King, not Tom Keen. Tom King. He has been writing the Batman solo series, and Clayman has been his artist for the War of Jokes and Riddles, and I believe Clayman did some previous issues as well. Tom King is doing a fantastic job as Batman. I honestly think after coming off the high of Scott Snyder, I didn't think it was possible for them to replace him with someone so talented right away. But Tom King, kudos to you. You're an excellent Batman writer. You have certainly satisfied my literary needs when it comes to the Dark Knights. Okay, so we're continuing on with our Batman comic book theme. Right now, Scott Snyder is continuing All-Star Batman. Unfortunately, this series is coming to an end. I'm very upset about this. No, you don't understand. I'm very upset about this. This was my favorite Batman series. Scott Snyder is an incredible writer. I just recently reviewed his graphic novels, AD After Death, that he did through Image Comics. I reviewed that on my blog. Check that out, www.jakeberry.blog. Definitely read up on it. And this All-Star Batman number 12, there's only 2 issues left. It's only going to number 14. And I'm very sad about this. All-Star Batman has been really amazing. They've had incredible villains. The first series focused on Two-Face and Batman's relationship with Harvey Dent, and it also served to introduce the Signal, who is Batman's new sidekick. Now, I was hesitant about the Signal. I didn't think he would be that great of a character. His real name is Duke, but he is an incredible character, so I got to give credit where credit is due. Great job, DC. I didn't think you could add someone else to the Batman family, but you did it. Duke, aka the Signal, incredible character. But anyway, moving right along. After they introduced him, of course, then they focused on Ra's al Ghul as a villain, and so this is the first ally. And Hush and a few other, and also the Penguin, are the villains in All-Star Batman. And it has cameos from other Batman villains as well. And this one has flashbacks to Alfred's time as an MI6 agent, and shows his training that he took place, in flashbacks, and how he learned to be a patriot for Queen and country. And, oftentimes the comic books hint at Batman's faithful butler, his background. They kind of hint at it. I remember before, the MI6 thing is kind of new. He was actually originally an actor who traveled around the world, and that's where he learned to help Bruce Wayne with his disguises and keeping in character with being Batman and then also being Bruce Wayne, bringing him back down to reality when he needed to. But anyway, one thing I'm not enthused about when it comes to All-Star Batman is I'm not a huge fan of the comic book art. It seems like they went for more of a trendy look. They've had a plethora of artists. Now you may look at this and you may go, "Whoa, why didn't they do that to the begin with?" But I'm kind of looking at it and like that's supposed to be the Penguin, but to me he doesn't really look like the Penguin. Of course, what is the Penguin really supposed to look like? Everyone would say Danny DeVito. Duh. But anyway, I'm not a huge fan of the artist, but there's only 2 issues left, so I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. It's just the way it is, sadly. But Scott Snyder, I'm sad he's stepping down from Batman stories because he's incredible. I hope that after the Metal series is over, that he goes back to writing Batman. Although, like I said, Tom King is doing a fantastic job as well. But I think that Scott Snyder almost rivals Neil Adams when it comes to creating and writing The Dark Knight. Alright, so speaking of Scott Snyder, I present to you Dark Days, The Forge. Now, The Forge is leading up to a special DC event, and it's a one-shot. And as I gave you a review of it, I talked about, it has the Signal in it, it has Green Lantern, it has the Joker at the end. Amazing work by Scott Snyder and Jim Lee and a whole plethora of other DC Comics writers and artists. And that led into the casting. Now, I present the casting to you because it is it immediately follows It immediately follows the Forge, and this one leads into Dark Days of the Casting leads into Metals. It's the as you can see, it's the prelude to it, and I just think that um, it's really interesting. They're doing this bizarre kind of almost cosmic thing with the Joker. I think that's a little unusual, but don't forget at the end of the New 52, when they introduced the DC Rebirth, and it brought back a lot of characters that had been wiped out in the New 52, they said that there were 3 Jokers, the Mobius chair of the New Gods. Batman connected to it, and he asked, what is the Joker's real name? And the Mobius chair said there are 3 Jokers. And from the photos that Batman gathered, the 3 of them were, of course, the Scott Snyder Joker from Endgame, and then the next one was from The Killing Joke, and then the Neil Adams Joker, which is more like, I guess you could say Batman the Animated Series. You know, he's still a violent sociopath, but definitely not in league with Killing Joke Joker and Endgame Joker. But anyway, they never really resolve that, and they only make mention of it twice. So one of the Jokers is trapped in the Batcave, and Green Lantern and the Signal accidentally let him out. And Batman is gathering some magical elements because, as he puts it, the Dark Knights are coming. And this is the first hint that we see, and we don't know exactly exactly what this is going to be. But Batman is very concerned about it. Talia al Ghul is involved. The Signal is involved. It's Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. They all make cameos in this story, and especially in the Forge. Aquaman is very prevalent, and somehow Hawkman and Hawkwoman are involved. They keep showing them, and it's the Carter Hall Shire version. So I'm really curious to see it. This is making me excited for Metals. I think the Dark Knight's Metals is going to be an epic event. I don't know if it's going to be like Final Crisis and Rebirth, in the sense that it's going to alter reality. I honestly think it's just going to be another cosmic event, a crossover. I have to admit, I am getting a little bit of event fatigue. I'm kind of ready for them to get a little bit back to basics, and Marvel and DC are both doing this. But with Scott Snyder at the helm of Metals, I think that it's going to be pretty awesome. So, who knows? Maybe that will alleviate some of my fears. I'm going to go out, I'm going to get Metals, and I'll definitely be reviewing them for you. Behold, the next issue of Trinity. It continues Dead Space with issue number 11. Now, in this one, Bruce, Diana, and Clark, otherwise known as Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, they head to the watchtower of the Justice League, or I should say the headquarters of the Justice League, and they found that these parasitic aliens have taken over, like Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, and they encounter this alien who goes by the name the Traveler. Ooh, sounds very mysterious. So the parasitic aliens, they look like something out of a horror movie, but I don't want to give too much away in case you read it, because there is a huge twist at the end. And honestly, I kind of saw it coming from the last issue, so maybe it's not too huge of a twist, but it was definitely when I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And it has cameos from Green Lantern, Jessica, and Simon. They're, of course, here to protect the Earth. And Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, of course, have to save the Justice League from these aliens. And it ties in to a previous storyline earlier in Trinity. And I thought that was kind of a weird reach. I think they were just trying to, oh, let's explain this really quickly. So, um, but other than that, I mean, this artwork is incredible. I love this image of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The cover, of course, is amazing. Um, the story is written by a guy named Francis Manipal. Sorry, I want to be sure I pronounce it right, and if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, let me know in the comments, please. He also does the art along with a guy named Scott Hanna and Scott Godleski. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Again, if I'm not, let me know in the comments. But the three of them together, they just bring us this incredible series. I love it. Of course, I'm partial toward Batman. I'm a little biased toward Batman. He's always going to be my favorite superhero. But I'm so glad they brought Superman back from the pre-New 52 version. That the New 52 version of Superman, he was kind of an arrogant jerk, and I didn't appreciate that about him. I really lost faith in Superman after that, but after Rebirth, they explained, or I should say, Mixia Spitlick explained in an issue of Superman that the event that caused New 52, which was Flashpoint, it caused Superman to split, and the New 52 version became the dominant one. And then when Convergence happened, and they brought in the guy from, I guess you could say, the post-crisis Superman, they brought him back in, and Mixia Spitlick explains that to Superman that he wasn't actually coming back, and that the New 52 Superman didn't actually die. It just appeared that way, but actually they had been split into two, and they were re-merged as a result of Convergence. So, but I'm glad Superman's back to being this this inspirational character. I really miss that. That's something that was lacking from the New 52. He was just kind of an overpowered jerk. And I did appreciate the relationship between him and Wonder Woman. I thought that was really well thought out and really well good. Of course, I have the famous cover with Jim Lee where Superman and Wonder Woman are flying, you know, and she's got her lasso wrapped around him. I have a feeling that was a little bit of a feminist message, but anyway, I am happy that he's back. He's dating Lois Lane again. He has a son, and of course, Diana is back to being princess, the great princess and warrior that she is. So, Trinity, definitely pick it up. And I want to give a shout out to Earth 2 Comics on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks. That group is incredible. They know their comic books. They actually know people in the industry. So whenever you come in with a question, they immediately know, hey, you want this. I want to give them a huge shout out because they always have exactly what I'm looking for. And now, they don't have a whole lot of back issue stuff, but if you want the newer stuff that's coming out, definitely check them out. And like I said, when I said they don't have a lot of back issues, I don't mean they don't have any. They have a ton, but it's not like they have rows and rows and rows and rows like the old place I shopped in Beaumont. They have everything that you need at New 52. Or excuse me, Earth 2, not New 52. They have everything you need at Earth 2. Sherman Oaks on Ventura Boulevard. Definitely check them out. Okay, one final thought before I let you go. Head over to the Daily Wire and be sure to subscribe there, dailywire.com, because yours truly has been frequently been a guest on the Michael J. Knowles Show. Pretty excited about that. I've been part of his panel of deplorables. We cover a whole bunch of political topics. So that's why I don't talk a whole lot about politics on this channel. I do it on the dailywire.com, of course, conservativenews.com, and as well now on the Michael J. Knowles Show. So you can head over to dailywire.com, subscribe there, and also you can check out their YouTube channel, which is also thedailywire.com. You can see my wonderful face on there. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at RealJacobAiry, Instagram real.jacob.airy. Find me on Facebook and like me there. That's author Jacob Airy, and you can also find links to my political articles. As well, you can find links to Cacophony. It's my debut paranormal thriller. You can find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Highly recommend it. It's about angels warring against demons in an epic battle of faith versus fear. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe right here on StudioJake. I cover comics, I cover gaming apps, I cover movies, I cover movie trailers, all sorts of amazing content. And hey, if you want me to cover something, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how I can be better. I'm still a growing channel, and I want to do right by my viewers. So please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next Saturday right here on Studio Jake.